Hey guys, it's the Clever here, and today we'll be checking out a new mod for Hearts of Irons 4. It is almost the same as the previous mod which I have done, and the reason I'm doing this mod instead of the other is that the other mod has been removed from the workshop, and we do not know is it permanently or is just temporary. So anyways, this mod is called the Millennium Dawn Modern Day mod, which both of this mod is set during the present day, except that this mod actually has one that goes back to the start of the century. So there's two scenarios we can choose from. One would be the Millennium Dawn and one would be the modern day. For the first one, which starts off in the year 2000, which is 1st of January, and it will take place the year before the 9/11 attacks. And for the 1st of June 2016 modern day mod, it is during the time where China is doing the claiming on the South China Seas, the aftermath of Russia marching into Crimea, and the ISIS attacking France. UK is also in the midst of leaving the EU. So all this will happen during the 1st of June 2016 mod. So we'll be choosing the 1st of June 2016 mod as more technologies are unlocked during this time period and it is much easier to expand. So just like in the previous mods, there will be extra mods in this one which grants national spirits. So for the United States, they do have the political establishment which grants a drift towards certain parties, but they will have to subtract 0.50 from their daily political gain. They are part of the United Nations Security Council member, which will grant them an extra 0.15 political power. For the United Kingdom, they do have the Queen Elizabeth II national spirit, which will grant them a 10% national unity. They are also part of the European Union, which will give them a 15% for their factory, but deduct 0.50 from their daily political power. And they are also part of the UN, which will grant them a 0.15 to their daily political power gain. As for France, they are also part of the EU, which will grant them a 15% factory and subtracting 0.50 from their daily political power gain. And they are also part of the UN. As for Germany, they do have their German legacy national spirit, which will grant a subtraction of 0.03 towards fascism and communism. They are also part of the EU. As for India, they are having the Tiger of South Asia national spirit, which will grant them a deduction of 25% for their training time, and they can create their own factions. As for China, they do have their socialism with Chinese characteristics national spirit, which will grant them a 5% factory output, and they can also create their own factions. They are also part of the United Nations Security Council. As for Russia, they are also part of the United Nations Security Council, but they do have the EU sanctions, which will subtract 20% from their factory output. And the last but not least would be Japan, which has the national spirit Emperor Akihito, which will grant them a plus 10% to their national unity. And we'll be choosing the same country, which is the United Arab Emirates, which we had done for the first playthrough, and we'll be choosing that same country. So as you can see in this mod, they have actually added in city-states such as the Vatican City and Monaco, which can be played. But we'll be choosing the same country which we did, which is the UAE. In this mod, they do have such a thing called the population growth, and for the country we're choosing, the UAE, they do have a rapid population growth, which will grant them a 75% extra monthly population. And countries such as Iran has a population explosion, which will grant them a 125% extra monthly population. And for countries in Southeast Asia, they only have a steady population growth, which will not grant them any bonuses. And for this playthrough, we'll be playing under regular. And we just start off with 18% world tension. And if we click on it, we can see that 8% comes from the ISIS group, 5.9% comes from Russia, annexation of Crimea, 2.9% comes from the North Korean nuclear program, and 1.9% comes from the Chinese aggression in the South China Sea. So we have to be careful not to let it reach 100% before most of the countries start joining factions, and it'll be harder to take over other countries. So we'll start by doing our national focus. And for this national focus, it is separated into the industrial and the political focus, with the industrial giving extra unlocks for civilian buildings and research slots, along with infrastructure and military build-ups. For political focus, it is divided into the government reforms and the school of ideology. For government reforms, we gain extra political power, and if we move downwards, we can actually unlock the education reforms, which are subtract 2% from our research times. And for the invest in public services, we'll gain on minus 5% for consumer good factories. And then we'll move down here, which will grant us a subtract of 3% from our research time once we unlock the encouraging of private research. And for the school of ideology, which is the other branch for political focus, it will grant us an extra 50 political power, and it is separated into another further 2 branches, the individual freedom or the national power. So for individual freedom, it is mostly for democracies and non-aligned, while the national power is mostly for the communists and fascists. And if we scroll further down, we can see they also have the army focus, the naval focus, and the air force focus, which all 3 branches are for the military, so we won't be doing any of it anytime soon. We'll go ahead and do the researchers first, and try to target unlocking extra research slots and minusing the research times, as we will want to be ahead of the other countries in terms of research. And since UAE is a small country with limited space, we'll have to do industrial focus and head down the civilian build-ups towards industrial research teams, which will grant us an extra research slots. So after we're done with it, we can now go ahead to our research slots, and we have 4 research slots available, so we can research 4 texts at any one time. And for the infantry tech slot, we have the modern infantry area, which is the top branch, which is going to be for unlocking extra weapons. The middle one below it would be for like cold weapons, such as laser sights, which will grant a bonus to soft attacks, land attack. The third one would be for support weapons. So the fourth would be for night visions, so we can fight better in the dark. The fifth would be for special forces branch. The 6 and 7 is mostly the same, with body armor and camouflages for breakthrough and defense. And the last one would be motorization slot, which is already fully unlocked for us. We can go ahead to see our support battalions, which is the same as the without mods. And for tanks, we can actually have extra areas such as the infantry fighting vehicles, the main battle tanks, the light tanks, and the armored personnel carriers. And as you see, we can go further down, and you'll get more and more high tech as we progress through the years. The last one would be the Gen 6, which we can unlock during the 2030 timeline. And the artillery is still the same, along with the land doctrines and the navals. The air would still be the same too. So we'll be choosing for this construction and engineering first, as we want to build as much as we can for now, as we have a limited amount of space. So we'll be doing construction too, along with concentrated industry, and improve machine tools. For engineering, we'll be doing computing machine, which will have a subtract of 3% from our total research time. And with research done, we can now go ahead and click our free surveillance factories, which we can see we have 4 factories going towards consumer goods. So we can go ahead and use the remaining 3 factories to build extra factories, surveillance factories to be specific. And we have 2 states which we can build, and with construction industry on the way, we can unlock more slots for the 2 states. And one more thing that concerns me would be we have no military. As we click on it and go to details, we have no military, no navy, no air force. We have no naval dockyards either or military factories, so we have to produce militaries quite soon. Navies are not much of a concern for now. And if we click the factions map mode at the bottom, you can see that we are in a faction with Saudi Arabia and Oman, along with Kuwait. And we're in the Peninsular Shield Force. And if we zoom out, we can see that there's other factions around us, such as NATO, which consists of mainly European and North American countries, and the CSTO, which consists of Russia, along with their states. Former states. And I'll be stopping here for today, and do tell me in the comments below on what you would like to see in the future, and if there's anything else, do tell me in the comments too, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share if you did like this video. And thanks for watching, and goodbye.